Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and you're watching A Lawn Care Life. Today I want to talk about Bermuda grass, specifically in the summer and fall, and what some of the things you might be dealing with your Bermuda lawn. I'm going to show you my Bermuda lawn, and then talk to you about different things like watering, like mowing, like weed control, some of the products I'm using, some of the weeds that we're dealing with, maybe give you some thoughts on fertilizer, and just give you what you need to know for this time of the year for your Bermuda grass lawn. Today's video is sponsored by my friends at Graham Spray Equipment. I run a weed control and fertilization business, and the big spray rig on the back of my truck is made by Graham Spray Equipment. You can check them out at grahamsc.com. All right, so here's my Bermuda lawn. This is the bald spot there. We've been working on our house, and that's where the septic tank went, so I didn't re-sod that. I gotta wait till that fills in. But you see the overall yard looks fairly decent, I think, but there are some problems as you get a little closer to it, and I'm going to talk about some of those things, some of the weeds and some of the things that we need to do for this time of the year. So let's start off with mowing, because I find that this time of year, again, me running a weed control and fertilization business, I start getting a lot of calls. Well, not a lot, but people want to know why their yard is brown. And well, this year, let's go ahead and mention this, because this is something else you might need to look for late summer, early fall. Is we've had an armyworm break out in my area, and so there's been a lot of yards that turn brown because the armyworms ate the lawn. All right, so if that happens, you know, they typically don't kill the grass. They eat the green part off the leaf, and it will come back. But that's something to be aware of if you have an armyworm outbreak. But that's not the only thing that causes brown spots in the yard. Let me see if I can find an example. So in this yard, I've been mowing it at pretty much 1.5 inches the whole time. And you end up with a situation like this. You're like, well, what caused that? You know, it's fairly green yard, and then you get here and it's like there's this big brown spot. Well, I see a couple of reasons when people turn it brown this time of year. I think this is sort of my understanding, but basically as the days begin to get shorter, and I know it's still hot, I'm in Alabama, it's August at the time of this video, it's still hot, but the days are getting shorter, and the grass seems like it begins, especially with people who mow it taller, the grass is kind of reaching for more and more sunlight. And sometimes it doesn't appear to be this way with my grass, maybe because I mow it so short. You know, mine looks like most of the actual plant is green here, but sometimes you'll see where just the very tip of it is green, and beneath that it's pretty much brown. And if you continue to mow it at the same height that you have all year, you may end up starting to take off some of the green, because the very tip of the grass is green. So even in this situation, I'm not 100% sure that's what happened, but it may be just that the lawnmower hit a bump and scalped it just a little bit lower and stressed it out a little bit. You know, you see here a similar situation where it's kind of took some of the color out. So it looks like where the lawnmower got too low right here, and it just takes some of the green out. So I tell people this time of year, if you want to keep it green, sometimes you might have to just bump your lawnmower up just a little bit higher on your mowing. For instance, I've been mowing 1.5 inches pretty much the whole year, and about 2 weeks ago I raised it to 1.75 inches. It's barely noticeable, but I think it helps it keep it green longer. Now, the other part may be that if you don't want to mow as often and you're tired of mowing, you get later in the summer, you could mow it shorter on purpose to stress out your Bermuda and make it stop growing as much. So that's when you get tired of mowing grass, you can do that. All right, let's talk about the weed control, and I'm going to show you some of the weeds you're probably seeing in your Bermuda lawn in the summer, even in the early fall. So this is a big one that we see all the time. It's nut sedge, and you can see it. It's a difficult weed to control. And if you got just like a lot of nut sedge, then there's several products. Like Pro Sedge is a product that I use, and another product called Certainty. There's another product called Solero. But if it's just primarily nut sedge, I think Pro Sedge would probably be one of your least expensive products that would work great on nut sedge. But if you end up having other weeds besides nut sedge. You might have some other sedges like Kalinga and things like that. And the Pro Sedge is probably not going to help you out as much on those. So let me show you some Kalinga and then talk to you about the products we use for that. All right, so this also is a sedge, but this is a type of Kalinga, and you end up with stuff like this that the Pro Sedge doesn't work as good. So if you got both Kalinga and nut sedge, then you might use a product like Certainty, or you might use something like Dismiss NXT or something like that. That's going to work better on your Kalingas than Pro Sedge would. So here's some of those products. This is Pro Sedge. It comes with a little scoop. I put 1 scoop per gallon of water in a sprayer and then add some surfactant. There's Certainty. Same thing, I put 1 scoop per gallon of water. It has a small side to the scoop and a large side. I put 1 large scoop per gallon of water with the scoop that's included when you buy it. Celsius is good if you're dealing with like grassy weeds or broadleaf weeds. So, you know, it's a good versatile product. Oftentimes we'll mix a product like Celsius with one of these other products. So I'll mix Celsius and Certainty together often. And that's a great combination for many weeds in your warm season grasses. I use a product called Change Up a lot. You might mix it with Certainty or with Pro Sedge. And Solero is also a sedge product that can help with both your nut sedge and your Kalinga. And like I said, Certainty is good for nut sedge and Kalinga. Pro Sedge mostly just for the nut sedge. Pro Sedge is going to be less expensive than the others. But I'll put links in the description to some of these products so you can check them out. To simplify things on your weed control, like I said, I use Celsius and Certainty combined, and they will work on a number of different weeds in your lawn. Just about any weed you're going to see, to be honest with you. Not every weed, but a vast majority of them. Now, is there better products for individual weeds? Yes, but that's a great combination if you want to kind of simplify things. You may have situations in your yard where you've got a little crabgrass breakthrough in the summer. And sometimes at this time of year, I just let it go and just think, whatever, the cold weather's going to get it soon and it'll go away, and I'll try to knock it back with my pre-emergent next January or February. But in this situation, if you wanted to kill it, you can use a product with quinclorac in it. I use Solitaire, and it works great on killing crabgrass as a post-emergent. There's some tough weeds you may run into like this. Virginia buttonweed, it's a vine. I've been told Roundup won't even kill it, but you can use Change Up, you can use Blindside. Products like that will definitely knock it back and make it less noticeable in the lawn. The Certainty Celsius combo works great on it. So, you know, there's gonna be weeds. I mean, pretty much, I've got a big yard here. I've got about 4 acres, and there's all kind of weeds that I could walk around and show you. But just trying to show you some of the common ones you might see. There's the one that looks like a little mimosa tree. It's called Chamber Bitter. Change Up's a great product for that. You know, you see here some more examples of our different Kalinga anyway that we deal with. Again, you want to go with a product like Dismiss NXT or Certainty or Solero. Can be great on those. So anyway, lots of weeds that you're going to deal with in the summertime. But, you know, as you start to transition, moving toward fall, you want to be thinking about what your plan is and about getting a pre-emergent out in the fall. And so what I normally do is I'll start, again, it's going to depend on where you live. So if you live further north with cooler climates, then you're going to want to probably get your fall pre-emergent application out sooner. If you live further south, you can wait later because warmer temperatures, you know, typically. So for me, I live near Birmingham, Alabama, and let's just say I'm gonna start around early to mid-September putting out my pre-emergent for the fall. And what I'm using is Spectacle Flow. You can use other pre-emergents, but that's the one that's the best for me as far as keeping PO out and weeds out in the lawn. So I want to get that down ideally before I start getting those cool nights in the fall. You know, when you wake up the one morning and you walk outside and you say, oh, it feels like fall. You know, you want to have that pre-emergent down and watered in before that happens, ideally. So I'm using Spectacle Flow at 6.5 ounces per acre. I mix it with Simazine and 2,4-D. The 2,4-D can help with the broadleaf weeds. The Simazine can help if you've got some POA that maybe that the Spectacle didn't get, maybe the Simazine will get it. So Anyway, that's what you need to be thinking for as you move forward to fall, because that's going to help keep your lawn looking good next spring. Okay, the people that have got hen bit and all the poannual and all that stuff in their lawn, it come February next year, it's because they didn't do a proper fall application the previous year with their pre-emergent. As far as watering goes, we've had so much rain this year, I don't think anybody needs a sprinkler system in my area. But if you're watering regular, we tell people just water once a week for about 30 minutes per zone. That's in our area. Just soak it real good is better than just frequent showers. And of course, we want to water early in the morning so that the grass can take it in before it gets too hot. But you don't want to water late in the evening typically, because the water, the dew can sit on there, the moisture throughout the night, and cause some fungus problems. And watering too often is not great for situations like the nutsedge, the clean, all those weeds. They love wet areas. So if you're watering 6 days a week because you love to see your irrigation run, you're actually not doing your grass any favors. As we move into fall, this can be one of the greatest times of the year, in my opinion, for your lawn. As we get on into September, sometimes you can slow down on your mowing a little bit, doesn't have to mow it quite as often. It still can look great, still can have color. And in October, a lot of times for us, we're just tired of mowing grass. So on that last cut of the year, I might mow it a little bit shorter than normal, because I want to send a message to the grass that don't grow anymore. I'm tired of mowing you this year, and go ahead and send it into dormancy and waiting on that cold weather to come in. And have it looking good, and putting that pre-emergent out to help it stay clean throughout the winter into the fall and next year. And then next year we're going to start with our pre-emergent for the crabgrass and warm season weeds. I start in January, to get it out. Typically if I can get it down before March, again I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, then you're usually in time to help knock out a bunch of the crabgrass with a pre-emergent, which is definitely the cheapest and best way, in my opinion, to knock out your crabgrass. So hope this video is helpful. You can leave questions, comments below, talking about the mowing, talking about the weed control. I've got links in the description. If you're in the weed control business, or even a homeowner, and you want to know what to use on your lawn, I've got a lot of stuff over at lawncarelife.com. There's programs for those wanting to start a business, whether mowing, whether weed control, fertilization, whether mosquito spraying. And then there's program packages that tell you kind of what I'm spraying on the yard. A lot of information over there. So check that out, lawncarelife.com. Appreciate you watching, and we will talk to you later. Bye.